And there's a good reason for them to come because normally the weather is pretty perfect. It was chilly, but it's still lovely outside.
Yeah, we've been caught in this pattern. And
cold.
Yeah, cold definitely in the mornings and in the valleys. We're going to be in it for a few more days, but there are signs that this is going to start changing. This cannot go on forever. And we're starting to see specific details for how this might change. The first thing is in the monitor back there. What I've done is I've taken the long-range forecast. That's playing all the way ahead to next Friday. If you look at that up there, it says Friday, December 19th. That's a pretty good-looking depiction for rain, and this is actually one of the better models if you wanted to do a long-range forecast. But still, that's a week from tomorrow. It's a little too far out. We are going to watch that with great interest, but we're not going to focus on that too closely just yet. Only in the sense that there is likely a change coming, and we saw things starting to change today. This is the review of the high-resolution satellite over us at 9 in the morning. See the timestamp there. In other words, maximum fog extent. This is usually when it's at its widest. We started poking holes in this today because for like the last week at this time of day, it was just a blanket of gray for everybody. And if you take a look at it on here now, you can see there are places across the bay where there were openings, even at the starting gate here. And then it's melted back pretty nicely, and watch what happened. We got more sun today by the time we got to 1 o'clock in the afternoon than we have for quite some time. North Bay cleared entirely. The only place that still didn't catch a break was the inland East Bay. So here we are, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It is still cloudy out here. So Vallejo, Concord, Antioch, you guys never really cleared entirely. And this becomes fascinating from a standpoint of the overwhelming impact this has on temperatures. Once again, if you look at where we were, if you go back to this morning, this was at 8 o'clock this morning. Look at the coast. They didn't have any of this cloud cover or fog. And when you look at the impact that has on daytime highs, the daytime highs for today, particularly down here, Half Moon Bay, made it into the 70s. 70s today at the beaches. Meantime, inland, it was in the 40s. This is not an exaggeration. This was the daytime high. Mid-40s in Sacramento. It's as warm as it got. Mid-40s in Fairfield. Look at the beach. There is a 30-degree temperature spread here. They're in the 70s here at the coast. That's the exact opposite for what we're so famous for doing here in the summer, except it's reversed. Now, in the mountains, it's the same story. 76 degrees on Ben Lomond Mountain because you're above the inversion layer. Meantime, here in the Santa Clara Valley, you were struggling to get out of the 50s because you were in the valley. And not only were you in the valley, more importantly, you were trapped under the clouds for a good part of the day. They never had it. They got sunshine. They were able to warm up. Certainly didn't have to deal with that in the mountains. And there's Sacramento back there. They've still not cleared. It is still just as cloudy there. It's in the mid-40s. This is a frigid December. If you have friends and family who live in the Central Valley, we've had our share of it, but at least we're close enough to the coast, and we've got some, at least, elevation here to break us out of it. We're still going to be doing this for the next couple of days. So let me just show you what happens tomorrow. Probably the same story when it comes to cloud cover. We'll start poking a little more holes in it tomorrow, but it's not going away. The pattern is still here, and when you look at morning lows, those North Bay valleys are still going down to the upper 30s tomorrow. And then you'll get sunshine. We should see widespread hazy sunshine for most of us by the afternoon. And when you look at the daytime highs, if you want to be technical about it, this might be a degree or two warmer than you were. That's your Friday. Saturday and Sunday are the same. When we were looking at the forecast imagery, and you could see that system that was out there in the long range that was trying to get here, that's a little too far out to start talking about it in the 7-day forecast because that's next Friday, and right now our 7 days getting us to Thursday. There might be a few drops of rain in here actually, but it doesn't look like significant rain. But what it does look like is a big difference in terms of getting rid of this inversion, clearing out the air, giving us sunshine, and letting the temperatures warm up. The pattern with the fog filling in the bay every morning has about 4 more days. And by Tuesday, we should finally start bringing in some different air that will break this inversion up and allow us to get more sunshine, allow us to get sunny in the afternoon, and then oddly, could probably lead to widespread rain by the end of next week. More on that as we get closer to it.